to another Daishinfinity video. In this video, we're going to prove the De Morgan rule, which states that if we have two sets A and B, that A in union with B complement is equal or equivalent to saying A complement and B complement. And I would like to prove this to you guys in this video. So let's just dive right in. So the first rule of De Morgan states that A as a set and union with B as a set in complement is equivalent to saying A complement and B complement. So if we want to prove this equivalent, we know from the logic playlist that we have to set one side as a subset of the other side. So we would have to first prove that A in union with B complement is a subset of A complement and B complement. So if you want to do this, let's say X is an element of A in union with B complement, which will imply that X is not in A in union with B. And this would also imply that X is neither in A or in B. I'm sorry, X is not an element of A, and X is not an element of B. And if X is not an element of A and not an element of B, then we can state that X is an element of A complement and X is an element of B complement, which implies that X is an element of A complement and B complement. So we have now proven that if A in union with B complement, that it's a subset of A complement and B complement. Okay, intersecting complement. So the other side we have to prove is that if we have the subset A complement intersecting B complement, that this is a subset of A in union with B complement. So this is the other side of the equivalence. So let X be an element of A complement intersecting B complement, which would imply that X is an element of A complement and X is an element of B complement, which would also automatically say that X is not in A and X is not in B. Now, if X is not in A and not in B, then we have to obviously think about if X is not in A and X is not in B, then X is obviously not in A or B. So if we take the complement, we can imply that X is an element of A in union with B complement. So now we have proven that A complement intersecting B complement is equivalent to saying A in union with B complement. So this is the first De Morgan rule, and I would like to prove you guys the second De Morgan rule. So the second rule states that if we have A complement or in union with B complement, that this is equivalent or equal to saying A intersecting B complement. So in order to prove this formula, I would like to first of all do the same thing, saying that A intersecting B complement is a subset of A complement in union with B complement. So let X be an element of A intersecting B complement. This would mean that X is an element, well, since we have a complement, X is not an element of A intersecting B. So it would also imply that X is not in A or X is not in B. Since X is not in A or B, it also states that X is in A complement or X is in B complement. And since X is in one of them, A complement or B complement, X should be in A complement union with B complement. So we have proven this first subset. Now the second subset direction is to prove that if we have A complement in union with B complement, that this is a subset of A intersecting B complement. So in order to prove this, let just be X an element of this set A complement in union with B complement. Since X is in A complement in union with B complement, X cannot be X can be in A complement or X can be in B complement, which would automatically mean that X is not in A or X is not in B. Since X is not in A and or X is not in B, it states that X cannot be in both of them at the same time. This is what the statement says. So if, let's say, A is this set and the B is this set, so we have A and B, and X is not in A or X is not in B. If X is not in A, X can be in B and the complement of them, or if X is not in B, X can be in A or the complement of B and A as a whole. So if we have this, we can actually imply that X cannot be in A intersecting B. So if we take the complement on both sides, X is an element of A intersecting B complement. So now we have proven that A intersecting B complement is actually equivalent to saying A complement in union with B complement, which actually proved the second De Morgan rule. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, then write them in the comments, and we'll see us in the next Daishinfinity video. See ya.